It wasn't your strategy. It was the residue. Let me explain, okay? So if you've ever wondered why your business still feels heavy, even after you've done all the right things, this is the conversation that will free you, okay? So if you've, let's talk about what is it that really makes entrepreneurship hard for those of us who are in our healing stage, for those of us who are recovering. If you've been showing up, if you've been launching, if you've been building, if you've been posting, if you've been in all the groups, if you've gone to all the networking events, and you still feel like something isn't clicking in your business, if you've questioned your strategy, your niche, even your worth, let me offer you another perspective. And the perspective is, it might not be your strategy, it might be the residue. And you might be like, girl, what is this residue she talking about? Well, I'm Takenya Freeney, a voice liberation strategist, your voice liberation strategist. And I work with women, mostly women, not always women, but mostly women. But I work with women who have outgrown their silence, because that silence ends up protecting somebody else. I work with women who've outgrown their silence, and I help quiet powerhouses liberate their truth, reclaim their voice, and lead from resonance instead of the residue. And this is the stuff that nobody's talking about. So I'm saying the thing that needs to be said, okay? I know myself personally, I used to think it was my strategy. Well, if I just change this, if I just tweak to that, if I just added another one of these, if I just created this landing page, if I just created this checkout cart, if I just added another email sequence, if I just added another, you name it, all these things that I thought that I needed, and it wasn't my strategy at all. What it really was, because we over here making a joyful noise in here. What it really was residue, and it was the residue from the lies I believed. I'm gonna get into this a little bit, because over time, what I was seeing showing up in my business was these were trauma responses, like over-explaining or over-giving or shrinking. When you know you're the star, these are the things that were sabotaging the clarity in my business. And some of the hardest things that I've had to unlearn in my business had absolutely nothing to do with marketing or a landing page or a funnel. It wasn't a funnel that broke me. It wasn't a nurture sequence that broke me. It wasn't even inconsistent sales that broke me. What broke me was narcissistic abuse. And that's real talk. That's what broke me. And it's like, I gotta talk about it. I have to talk about it. It's part of the healing, because there's an imprint left over from narcissistic abuse. And that imprint is what I'm calling the residue of narcissistic abuse. It started running the show behind the scenes in my business. As much as I thought I was the one controlling things, the trauma was in control. The trauma was in control. And science backs this up. So when you have a series of incidences where you are repeatedly being invalidated, where you are constantly being gaslit, where someone is intentionally silencing you, or someone is intentionally manipulating you with ill will and ill intentions involved in it, it literally rewires your nervous system. It changes your brain chemistry. It changes your brain function. And what ended up happening is my nervous system was rewired to associate visibility and expression with danger. Because every time I said, well, I don't think we should do this, or how about we look at this? Every time I opened my mouth, it came with some kind of repercussion that was negative. Anytime I objected or had a differing opinion, it was not the best of times. I'm laughing, but it was not the best of times. So while I may have had the knowledge, I may have had the ideas, I had the offers, my body kept telling me, girl, you got to stay small in order for you to stay safe. My body was telling me that. And it wasn't laziness. It wasn't laziness. That was a trauma imprint. And it showed up in ways, a lot of the times, that looked like self-sabotage, but it was actually survival. Self-sabotage and survival. Whew. And here's how I knew it was the residue, okay? I'm just going to give you some examples from what has happened for me personally. I would spend hours writing like a 1, 2, 3 sentence email, maybe 4 sentence email. And I would just edit it down and like try and make it be as nice as I could make it be, because I didn't want to upset whoever was on the receiving end of that email. That's one way that the residue of narcissistic abuse was showing up in my business when I'm trying to email my my clients. Hold on one second. Hey, AC. He can't hear. Hold on. I'm recording my live. Yeah. You good? You don't play them. Boo thing said he got things to do. Anyway. Another way that narcissistic abuse, or the residue of the things that I experienced in the trauma responses that I had, would show up in my business is, it's the D word, discounts. I would discount my services before somebody had even asked what my price was, because what I feared was being called greedy. What I feared was not being agreeable or amenable. And I would discount my services before somebody even asked what the price was. A third thing that I used to do in my business was I would post something that was very heartfelt, very, very whatever was on my mind at that time, and I would delete it. I would delete it because I felt too exposed. Like, oh my God, they're going to see me. Oh my God. You know, the me that I am, and the me that I am in private versus the me that I am public facing. Oh my gosh, they're going to see that there's cracks. They're going to see that there's cracks in it. What's going on, Ken? They're going to see that there's cracks in it. And all of that was just my nervous system constantly scanning for some level of safety, because I couldn't find it in the places and spaces where I was supposed to be the safest. That was my voice trying to lead, but my voice was always like just looking over my shoulder for the next something bad to happen. And so if you've ever felt like you're working against yourself in your business, it's not your offer. It might not be your offer. What it might be is the residue. And here's how it showed up. Here's how it showed up for me in my business. I have written big old essays just to say, okay, and my rate is. Like a whole doggone dissertation just to tell somebody what my rate was. And it didn't take all that. And it wasn't because I didn't believe in the value that I was providing or the transitions that I could give people, but it was this conditioning of defending my existence, this conditioning of defending why I'm here, this conditioning of walking on eggshells, because clarity sometimes could feel like confusion. Like, I know it, but I thought I knew it, but I don't know if I know it anymore, because that is the residue of the trauma. I would over-explain, and this is coming from a place of my nervous system being in a state of hypervigilance, and it's my body trying to stave off the rejection before it even happens, trying to appease to the person on the other end, trying to over-justify, because you don't want the rejection to come. You want to be liked, you want to be loved, you want to be accepted. And at the root of that was in my growing up or in my loving of someone. It may have felt like my truth always had to come with proof. Would have to bring some kind of receipt. Where are the receipts? You got receipts. So I would overgive in my business. I used to stack my offers with extra sessions, bonus content, long access windows, Not because it was strategic per se, but it was because I didn't want to seem selfish. I didn't want to seem selfish. I would offer payment plans that went on into the eons before somebody even asked. I would throw in these upgrades for free, and I would undercharge just so I would be liked. Because I wasn't getting liked in my home. Wasn't happening. Okay? And just so you know, overgiving isn't generosity. What overgiving is, it's that fawning. It's that fawning response. You may have heard like fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. That was fawning. That was me trying to appeal to someone's goodwill in order to receive something that I was already worthy of receiving without having to ask. I didn't know it at the time, though. Didn't know that at the time. What ends up happening is in your business, when you're fawning and fawning and fawning, you end up bleeding your energy and you end up bleeding your margins. You can give and give till it's gone, okay? And the data shows this too. Women, especially Black women, are expected to over-deliver to be seen as competent. And oftentimes we internalize that. It is a lie. It is a lie. It is a lie. Let's talk about hiding, because there have been times where I would skip going live for long periods of time. And it's not because I didn't have content, or not because I didn't have something to say, or not because it was because I did not feel safe. Being seen didn't equate to being safe. Visibility felt like exposure. And it's not because I didn't have the idea or something valid that needed to be said. It's because every time I would show up, I would remember how it felt to be seen and then silenced, seen and then told to be quiet, seen and then mocked, seen and then punished, seen and then told to, why are you even telling me this? It wasn't a confidence issue. It was a trauma memory showing up in my business. So being visible felt like being vulnerable. And there's studies on trauma and leadership right now that show that survivors will often hesitate to assert themselves, especially in public or high stakes spaces, because that risk feels visceral. When I tell you, I still will have an internal physical response to certain things based on certain ways I was treated in the past. Healing it's not linear. It's not. It's ongoing. Woo! Another way, when you think it's your strategy, but it really ain't, that showed up in business for me was I've rewritten my refund policies in one of my businesses about 1 million times. About 1 million times, just trying to sound nice and sweet. I'm like, oh, if you don't pay me by Tuesday, take all the time you need. No, I've said yes to collaborations that I knew would drain me. Oh my gosh, like over-draining myself, over-committing myself, overthinking my boundaries. I wasn't honoring the things that I knew would drain me. Yeah, I'll play at your church for $2 and a fish plate. Because saying no felt like I was betraying the person who was asking me for something. Saying no felt like I couldn't. Like, why you can't say no? I felt like I couldn't say no. I've gotten better at that. Every boundary that I set came with this level of guilt, and it's especially common for women who have been raised and conditioned, and society has normalized for women to be agreeable. And for anyone who's had their no weaponized against them, a yes felt safe, but the no was really the thing that needed to happen. But we often fear being labeled as difficult. And so what ends up happening is we just bend, and we bend some more, 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 and we bend more and more and more, and it happens so slowly over time that you don't even realize that you're about to break until it's too late or damn near closed. Staying misaligned. Again, I'm talking about me. You know, if some of this resonates with you, even better. I'm talking about myself here. I stayed too long in partnerships. I have stayed too long in pricing models. I have stayed too long in communities that didn't reflect my values. And it's not because I didn't know any better, because, you know, mom ain't raised no fool. Mom and daddy still don't play that to this day. Y'all better ask somebody. But it was because leaving meant that I would be called the villain. Again, I've heard it before. You know, why can't you just support me? Why are you so sensitive? Like, you always have to make things about you. Like this whole flipping the script and turning things back on me when I didn't want to do the thing in the first place because I didn't have the space and capacity to take it on. But I said yes to what it was that you needed, which was telling me no to the things that I needed. That imprint lingers. It lingers, and it makes this misalignment feel safer than the actual movement that needs to take place. And this is why the lie reversal circle exists. The truth of it is, the lie reversal circle, it's not about confidence. It's not about learning how to speak better. It's not about, and you know, I'm going to help you land your next TEDx talk. Or that's not what we're doing here. Don't get it twisted. You know, public speaking, Toastmasters, TED Talks, that kind of thing. I got you. I get it. I hear you. But when you really get down to the root of it, all those things, all those programs teach you the how to speak better, I'm here to get your residue gone. That's what I'm here for. It's not about your confidence. It's not about your competence. It's about that nasty, icky residue. Your nervous system is still staying on high alert. Your voice is still trying to find its place in safety. Your inner child is still wondering, like, will I be punished if I take up space in this way? The circle is a 6-week intimate container for women who have outgrown their silence. Like for women like me, I'm saying a lot of the things that I just wouldn't say before. It was easy for me to say it for somebody else, but now I'm saying it for me. For women like me who've built the brands and launched the offers and still feel invisible in the room. For women who have carried brilliance and brokenness at the same time, and you just never had a space safe enough for you to lay both of them down. And let me just add, you're not broken, you're becoming. There's something different about that. This is for women who've questioned whether your intuition is even real because you've been gaslit for so long. You've been gaslit so long. You've been gaslit for so long. I want to do a song. I'm sitting over here looking at my keyboard. But inside the circle, we name the lie that was either inherited or absorbed. We're all believing a lie about something in regards to ourselves that just isn't true. That's why it's a lie. We also reverse those lies together. And finally, we relearn what it means to speak and be met. It's like you're not afraid to speak, you're afraid of being misunderstood. And this isn't something we just do in theory, like we're going to talk about talking. This is something that we do in real time. It's practice. It's a circle. We work on whatever your offers are, what your voice is, and your nervous system and your life all at the same time in the lie reversal circle. And we start July 7th. So if anything I've said is sitting in your chest, drop the word circle in the comments and I'll personally send you the link, because you don't have to keep healing in silence. We may be quiet powerhouses, but there are some things that need to be said, okay? Don't let that residue write your next chapter. Don't do it. Your nervous system isn't broken. It's brilliant. And what it's done for you in the past is it adapted to protect you when protection didn't come. But what you protected then might be what's preventing your rise right now. You can let it go. Maybe not all at once, but a little bit over time. That tightness that you feel in your throat before you speak, the way you freeze before you hit publish, like, I'm going to do it. Am I going to do it? I'm going to do it. That second guessing of every decision in your business, it's not because you're unqualified. You are the subject matter expert in your field, in your career. But your body is still trying to hold on and earn the safety that it didn't get before. So please hear me. You don't have to choose between being seen and being safe. You don't have to pick between your impact and your inner peace. You can have both. You can heal and build. You can rise and rest, and you can lead and still be held. You can hold others accountable and still be held. You can hold space for yourself and still be held. Because, baby, you are not the problem. You are the proof. Proof that you can survive and still serve. Proof that you can be hurt and still be whole. Proof that your story has residue, but there's also resurrection in that residue. And if you're tired of shrinking, if you're tired of shape-shifting to fit somebody else's narrative of who they think you should be, if you're tired of building a business that doesn't feel like yours, even though it may have your name on it, the circle is for you. I wrote this for me, but maybe it's for you too. And if this live spoke to you, please share it, because somebody else is carrying this truth alone, and I want them to know that the circle is here. Smile.